We got our next speaker coming up right now. We got the amazing Cheyenne, her and her wonderful husband on this beautiful mission of creating a new world, heart center individual who are going to really pour love and really bring in some drastic breakthrough and to allow people to shine, to bring their diamond and their gem and making an impact around the world. So I am super excited to introduce you guys to Cheyenne. It's Cheyenne. So let me just say her little bio really briefly. Cheyenne Kramer realized in high school that there was something wrong with the way lives were being directed. Her valedictory speech titled Follow Your Heart was a call for connecting our heads and our hearts. So our heads and our hearts when deciding on a career path. I was like mixed up and my dyslexia took over.
What's
Connecting our heads with our hearts when deciding on a career path, not just following the money trail. After experiencing multiple layoffs in the corporate arena, she decided it was time to help more people find that alignment and become the creator they were designed to be. Her class called Find Your Song and Sing It. I love that title. Finding or creating work you love was adopted by university and community college across North Carolina. Woo-woo! And is now being offered online with a mandate to help more people live their purpose. Cheyenne has added tools to help heal body, mind, emotion, and spirit. For too many people are feeling called to a mission and are still sitting on the sideline due to health issue. Utilizing unique technology and a certification from a world-renowned water doctor, she's helped people overcome the obstacle that have sidelined them from being the miracle they were born to be. Wow! So impressive. So happy for Shan. So happy you said yes, yes, baby. I can't wait to not.
Am I able to share my screen? I
Yes,
do have
you
a
are.
presentation.
I have to say, I love that sparkle and that green on you. It looks gorgeous.
Thank you. Yes, I felt like I should be sparkling today.
Why not?
Why not? That's it. All right. Let's see if we can get the screen to share.
Get it
Yes.
sharing. Yes.
All right. And now we just need to blow it up bigger.
Right now. Firework. That's what I'm talking.
Absolutely. And I was thinking as I was listening to both you and Nicole, because my presentation is not as much about the relationship with other people as it is with the relationship with ourselves. And especially from the point of view that so many people adopt their career as their identity. People who go through layoffs, and I've worked with a lot of them, that's one of the big challenges is that all of a sudden I was a software engineer and now I don't know what I and so that's my goal, is to help people to start to really tap into that true identity of theirs and build an income, build a life around that. Because society has taught us that we need to follow the money trail, go after the money. And then if we have time, we can try to figure out how to create some kind of passion, purpose, or mission in those cracks. And what I'm saying is, no, we start with that core of who we are and we build the income around that. And that's been my message since high school. Isn't that crazy?
It's amazing. I love it. I love it. I can't wait.
Absolutely. So anyway, this is where I start with everybody is I believe we all were born with a piece of a super puzzle that could make the world a better place. And if we could possibly all be building our super puzzle piece, we would be snapping those pieces together. That's the beauty of what you've created here, Ree, is all these people have pieces of a bigger puzzle, a relationship puzzle, a healing puzzle, and you're snapping us all together here. And if everybody on the planet was doing that, we would be living on a planet with ultimate health, wealth, and peace for all. And the fact that we're not seeing as much of that as we want means there's too many of us sitting on our puzzle piece. So, what we all decided to become part of the miracle that we're looking for instead of waiting for all these other people out here to create solutions in the world. So that's my message, and I'm sticking to it.
I love it.
And it's not a secret. People across the planet are unhappier than they've ever been. A year ago, my husband and I were inspired to put together a huge event on suicide prevention because we were told a year ago that suicide is the leading cause of death of 10 to 18-year-olds. Second leading, not leading. Second leading, accidents is the only thing that causes more deaths. And to me, it's not okay. We need to be aware of this, and we need to be helping people at all age groups to be able to get to a place of finding joy in living again. That's really what our big event was all about. And this is still a silent epidemic. And that's the other thing that I'm out here to say. We need to shine the light on stuff like this because the silence is what allows it to continue. So thank you for allowing me to at least bring this up, even though it's not all happy, happy, joy, joy. The goal is we want to get more people to that happiness, to that joy, because as I've seen other places in this event, it is our birthright to live in health, wealth, and peace. For me, this was the discovery of my song. Some of you may remember many years ago that there was one of the first big, huge blowups we saw in the US was in the state of Missouri, just outside of St. Louis. And people were just beating each other up, and it was all kinds of craziness that was going on. And I got the opportunity to go and visit there a few months after that whole activity had happened. And what really blew me away was when we were there, there was this whole main street in the middle of town that was all small businesses, as most of us are. And they all had paintings like the one you're seeing. They had totally taken their storefronts and created these paintings that were all about hope, that were all about love, were all about peace. And I love this one, help one another, for we're all in the same boat. And that's what I started to realize all the way back in high school, is that well-meaning people were just trying to make sure we were going somewhere to make all the money we could. But somehow, for those of us who were feeling a calling, feeling something in our heart that needed to be integrated, all of us, many of us, have been in that boat and not being allowed to do something with it. I've actually lost 2 friends to suicide because they had huge callings that they didn't feel they had permission to do something with. So this was all part of my discovery of my heart song and saying, we all have something to contribute on the planet. And I want to be a helpful part to help more people discover it and put it into action. We have to address this to reverse this trend. We have to address body, mind, and spirit, as many of your presenters already know. We're trying to reach more people and help them understand that. Because, we got to connect the head and the heart, as you were saying in my introduction. It is a requirement. So with everything I do, I'm very much into addressing physical components, emotional and mental components, as well as spiritual components, because those are the 3 main things that I'm finding now. I've been 6 years on the road, living in this home on wheels, and it has been an amazing adventure, to say the least. And what I've seen all over the place is people with these big visions. I believe they're divinely inspired visions of how we can create more health, wealth, and peace on planet Earth. And so many people, there's 2 main things, and there's many of us addressing these. Health is one of them that's stopping people. They're derailing them from living in that purpose. And then the other is finances. And my husband, who's out here today with me, he handles more on the financial side. I love dealing in the health side. So far too many of us are unaware of the need for minerals in our bodies as part of our brain health, as part of making sure we don't get into depression or anxiety or all of these things. And most people don't know we're not getting minerals in our diet. We could be eating the cleanest, most organically grown, beautiful food in the world, but there's no minerals left in our soil. They've all been removed. They've all been used. And because of that, the minerals aren't getting into our plants, which means we don't get to digest them. And so this is one of the things that I'm really trying to help people understand is if we're not supplementing our body with minerals, then we become a lot more subject to a whole lot of health problems and definitely brain health as well. In fact, one of the naturopathic physicians that I partner with was almost institutionalized as a child because he was just off the walls. Just, they thought he was totally nuts and he was going to hurt himself or somebody else. Until he went and asked his mother why they feed alfalfa pellets to their animals, because he lived on a farm. And she said, because the alfalfa is loaded with minerals, and it's if we feed that to the animals, they stay healthy. It's a lot cheaper to keep them healthy than it is to try to heal them after they get sick. So he went to the barn and he filled a bowl with alfalfa pellets and corn milk on it. When he did that, for the next 2 or 3 days. And whereas his bags had already been packed to go to this institution, after 3 days, his whole emotional self, his whole behavioral self had returned to normal. We have no idea how much we need the minerals in our lives. We require 60 minerals every day. And they're no longer in our food because our plants don't make minerals. They can make vitamins. They don't make minerals. And we have to get those minerals from the soil. Or at this point, to supplement because they're not in the soil. And we have to find ways to help our bodies, minds, and spirits release the energy of the trauma we've experienced. We don't get out of this life without trauma of some sort. And we hear some of Ree's stories, and an awful lot of what she experienced felt very traumatic. I understand. My first marriage was similar, and it was very traumatic. But all the way back into childhood, oh my goodness, we have trauma in our lives. And people think the only way to deal with trauma, maybe not so much our speakers here, but so many people think the only way to deal with trauma is through medications. And I will say medications have their place. I went through a postpartum depression at one point in time where if I hadn't had those medications, I don't know if I would have made it. I was a mess. There's no doubt. But I will say there are so many ways to be able to release the energy of trauma. And that was one of the things that I was blessed with. When my husband and I thought we were definitely not going to be able to go on the road, because he was in so much pain, he was depressed, I was depressed, we thought we were done. And it was literally me praying to whatever higher power you believe in and just saying, you've given us this vision. And at this point, we can't see a way to be able to do it because we're in too much pain emotionally, and my husband was physically. And it was through that request for help that somebody came into our lives and taught us process. That was where the water doctor, my mentor, came in and taught us how to be able to release that trauma of energy. And it's so powerful. I've recently been able to help somebody who was stuck in alcohol addiction. I've recently been able to help somebody she was a single mom of twins, and she really was seriously thinking about ending her life. And she's now on a much better path. So there are tools out here, and there's probably as many different tools as we have speakers here. But yes, there are ways that we don't have to suffer in that trauma. And then finding that alignment with a purpose, a mission, or a cause can ignite that passion within. This was my group of volunteers when we did our Ignite the Spark program last year for disrupting this pattern of suicide. And it was amazing for me because, again, having lost some amazing friends who took their own lives, being able to do this and be able to make a difference for other people. We ended up finding out after the fact that two of the gals who were in this picture had lost their moms to suicide. And that to me is just such a sad situation. And the depression that I used to experience as a teenager, I found that as I moved into understanding more about connecting the head and the heart, being able to help other people get that connection and to create work that actually fills them and helps them to be able to create an income at the same time that they are being that light to the world, that they're creating that puzzle piece for health, wealth, and peace, somehow that depression starts to lift. And I have known in the last 10 years, I have known when something is off, that I'm all of a sudden, I've headed down a rabbit trail that was not for me because I could start to feel that depression start to creep back into my world. So as soon as I feel that, I'm like, okay, the universe, you need to get me back on track. Where is it that I've gone off? And I'm always guided to get back into that because that is a huge part of helping more people find the joy in living again. That is rightfully yours. There's no doubt about that in my mind. So the questions that I always ask people to help them, if they're struggling, they can't figure out, okay, do I have a purpose? Do I have a puzzle piece? These are the three questions I found that can help people to answer that question. One, if you had a closet full of money that would never run out, what would you be doing with your time? Now, unfortunately, far too many people say to me, be traveling the world. And I'm like, yeah, that'd be fun. And then what? And most of the people can't answer that because we don't give ourselves permission to think about it because closet full of money that would never run out, that's not realistic. That's what I always heard. The idea is take the money out of the picture for a moment and just tell us, what does your heart want? What is your heart calling you to do? And I'm running into more and more people with amazing hearts, and it is such an honor to be able to help them to move forward with them. The second question is, what life challenges have you overcome? What wisdom have you gained? And how could you help others with that wisdom? Rewrote a book. I believe we all have a book, at least one, inside of us. Because whatever we have moved over, around, and through, if we'll put that on paper and offer it to other people, we are offering the number one thing that the world needs more of, along with love. It's hope. And, when people can read Bree's story and understand that even though there may be failed love in your life somewhere along the line, there's still hope for finding that amazing love. And we all deserve that, for sure. So almost everybody I know that has really gone down a path of serving others, it's because of some life challenge that they overcame. And they said, you know what? I want to pay it forward. I want to help other people with what I've learned. And that is one of the most beautiful things that we can do for anyone. And the third one is a catch-all, because if you tell me about what you would do if you actually had free time, if you can't tell me about a problem or a challenge you've been through, guarantee every soul on this planet has something that ticks them off, makes them ridiculously angry, or brings them to tears. And those things, that anger and that sadness, we need to start to recognize that for what it is, a clue to what we're passionate about. We wouldn't get that angry or we wouldn't end up in tears if we were not somehow feeling some kind of passion towards these things. And if all else fails, think about these things and think about, what could you be doing? What in your experience, even if it's just a little bit, what could you be doing to help resolve the problems that you're seeing in the world that make you either really angry or really sad? Those are direct connections to the soul. And they are definitely ways that when you find a way to help in these situations, it does help you to find joy in living. So these three questions are clues to your heart song. Your answers can help you create a business or a life that has meaning for you, helps you feel good, and helps you make an impact. And basically, our formula, and there's many of them out there, we're just looking for the people who resonate with ours. Mineral supplementation, energetic trauma release, and finding your song and singing it. That's our formula for choosing you and choosing happiness.
Oh my God, I love it. And then Einstein says everyone is a genius. If you pick a simple creation activity and combine it with your song, you could be the miracle we're waiting for. I love that one. I'm actually going to take a picture of that one and repost that. I'm probably going to repost that on my post of inspiration.
And the full quote from Einstein, which I love, is he says, everyone is a genius. But if you force a fish to try to learn how to climb a tree, it'll spend its whole life thinking it's a failure. So that's my job. It's to help more fish learn how to swim and not worry about climbing the tree.
Oh, well, I love it. I love it. That was so good, Cheyenne. I took so much note on it. Snap a few pictures too. I adore this. Cheyenne, I want to open it. I want to welcome Marshall for joining us. And then Al gave you a big round of applause as well.
Thank
Want
you.
to be able to open this to the audience if they have questions to ask the wonderful Cheyenne, because you can see there's so much passion. I love everything that she says. Not only is she driven, like purpose driven and wanting to help people be a beacon of light herself and shining the light on other people so they can find their life purpose and make this world a better place. And I love the idea and the image of the puzzle. If we can all come together and put a puzzle, I love it. I was like, when I was thinking about the puzzle, I was thinking of all you speaker becoming this puzzle and making this place a better world. So thank you for that. To the public, Nicole has a question for you.
Ooh, I get to be Joe Public. I love it. Awesome. Awesome. I really like this. When you're talking about the minerals, that's how I started. I was vaccine injured as a kid. And I had a whole bunch of a slew. We don't have time for that of stuff, and I was hospitalized. But the thing I started with was vitamins, minerals, different foods as an adult. Learn that maybe being anorexic or drinking or smoking, chain smoking wasn't the best healthy thing. Maybe there was something else out there. Like that, you live in a neighborhood, you do the things that you know or what's available for you. When you change this, I just want to maybe it's less of a question, but really more of a thank you for sharing the mineral portion of it. It's so important to hear other people say that we just don't get that in our minerals. You can't get in the food, and you can't get that in the Franken food either. And this is a time, maybe I do have a question. So for JFK right now, with all the change for the good and everything that's out there, do you see a difference this year in the way people are reacting to the subject that you're speaking about?
They're starting to. They're definitely paying attention and going, okay, so maybe there are Mother Nature's miracles, shall we say, that need to be integrated into what we're doing. When we did the Ignite the Spark event last year, that was part of our message was it's time for integrative healthcare. There's nothing wrong with Western medicine, and it does a great job of analyzing and diagnosing and all of that stuff. But sometimes we need to integrate these other components so that we can get better results. Because the number one thing that is true, and I've heard RFK say this, is that the US has spent more money on healthcare than any other country in the world, but we rank 40th in results. So we're missing both in some big ways. And I do want to mention that I do in the VIP, if people have not upgraded to VIP, I encourage them to do it because I'm giving away my Find Your Song class in a video format to our VIPs. So if anybody is looking for that kind of thing, you're getting a real big discount by just upgrading to the VIP to get that. But then the other thing is I put a link here just in case anybody's interested, because one of the things I'm able to do is a face scan that I can send a link to anybody's smartphone. You can do a 30-second face scan and it'll tell you exactly what kind of nutrition you're lacking. It also will give you a read about what's happening with your emotions. And that is something that I usually charge $97 for, to do the scan and to write you up a report as a summary. And so through that link right there, people have access to it for just $27. And if they do the scan and they don't think it was all that worthwhile, then it becomes free.
Wow, I love it. Oh my God. Give her a big round of applause. Sheyenne. Thank you so much. You are a blessing. I love it.